All right, so looking at our data warehouse, we have this batch number, which we're going to use as an integer. But looking at our batch data, there's not really anything here that gives us an idea about what this batch name should be, right? So what we're going to do in this particular case is that we have information from the decision maker that we're going to make the batch number the integer, which we've already identified by the sort function, but we're also going to create a new column called batch name, and it's just going to be a duplicate of the batch number. And later, the company might decide to put some alphanumeric values in. But so for this particular exercise, we're just going to create a new column that's called batch name, and it's just going to be the exact same value as the batch number, but it's going to be in a string format. So when we look at this table right here, the batch number is the integer, and a batch name is basically an alphanumeric value or a string value. All right. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to derive a new column. We're going to call that a batch name. And the expression that we want to put in here is actually going to be data type, and it's convert to string, and it's going to be 50 characters in length, and it is based off of the batch number. Now, that is what I'm giving you, and however, that is something that you would end up casting yourself. So that expression is something that I'm providing for you at this time. Learning how to put those together is really not too much of an extent for this class. All right, so here we go. I'm going to hit OK. And now for the data warehouse, we're going to make sure this goes into the proper table, which is the batch table. Let's go ahead and look at the mappings. Let's see if everything matches up. So yeah, we have the batch number, and then look here. So the batch name is a value that was created from our derived column, and that's what's mapping this through. Now, if you haven't picked up on this already, you notice that each of these arrows is really based on the transformation of what happened previous, right? So like, in this derived column, we actually added that extra column, and we can see that result here, which is there's the batch name that we created. So that's kind of how this process is working. All right, so let's go ahead and hit OK, and everything should work out. I'm going to hit save, and once again, I'm going to run this because knowing that I have a new data source and other kinds of variations, it could cause me some problems. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start, and let's make sure that everything works out just fine. And if this crashes, then we can all chuckle about that crash. Oh, I'm lucky. All right, everything worked out. So now let's go back to our data warehouse, and let's run this query. And of course, I don't want to delete what's there, so I'm going to again comment out that, and do go ahead and run these select statements, and see what's in there. And we can see now we have data in all of our tables with the exception of the fact table. So we can see here, this is the fact table, and there's nothing in here. And then here we have, of course, I forget already. There we go. We could see what order these selections were. So that was the fact table. That is the machine table, machine type, the plant. There's our batch. So that worked out. See how those are matching up? Okay. Then let's kind of scroll down here. And then we also now have the product table. We have the subtype and the type. All right, so we're loading data into our data warehouse. So the last thing that we have to do is this pesky fact table. And I'm going to tell you that's not easy, but we're going to go ahead and get ourselves set up to do that properly. Okay. So let me click and drag this down. I'm going to go ahead and delete all my data. And execute it. Now all my data tables are empty one more time. Okay. Okay. This is working really good, right? So let me kind of make some adjustments that I know that I'm going to want to make before we get into loading the fact table. So the first thing that I'm going to do is over here on the right hand side of my project. So I'm specifically looking in this area of my screen. I want to rename this package. Okay, so I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call this my dimension load package. Okay, and then it says it has to save externally. Do you want to reload? And yes, yes, yes. Okay, so everything's put up in that fashion. Also, on the bottom, some of the things that I might like to do is rename some of my connection managers. Notice that batch CSV is already renamed properly. I'm going to go ahead and rename my accounting database. I'm going to get rid of all this prefix and just call it PTI accounting database. And then I'll do the same thing with my data warehouse. I'm just going to call this PTI data warehouse. Okay, so that changes those names. It kind of cleans some things up quite a bit. Now, in order to get started on my fact table, I'm going to want to start a new package. So I'm going to right click over here in packages in the same project that I'm already in. So I'm going to right click and hit a new SSIS package, right? And then this package is going to end up becoming, and I'm going to rename this, this is going to be my fact load package. All right. So again, it asks me if I want to, make those changes. I'm just say yes to all. So in this particular task, I will have a new data flow task, right? That is just going to be fact load. So I am just going to call this fact load. And we're going to get things started from there. So now I've organized my project a little bit, and my connection managers are all in place, right? So I'm ready to go. All right. So I'm going to pause here, and we're going to get started with our fact load here in the next segment or the next set of videos.